Hello everyone, Glieken here, bringing you another Hour of Devastation draft. Here our first picks are between Torment of Venom, Open Fire, River Hopo, and the Ifnir Deadlands. And as good as these cards are, and as good as they are single color, I'll go with the River Hopo, just because I love the River Hopo, and it's everything I want to do with Magic. Early impressions of the set, I definitely think that blue is a little bit underrated so far. Oh, at first that was the River Hoopoo. It is a Sifter Worm, which we're going to take, but I saw the art and I was just like, oh my god, there it is. We're doing it. I think blue is more powerful than people probably necessarily think it is. I think green isn't necessarily that powerful, as we take 2 green cards, but I think all the colors are playable. I don't think we're in a situation where like you want to actively avoid one of the colors. I think all the colors are actively good, and I just love me a River Hoopoo. I think day 2 of a GP, I think I actually take either the Open Fire or the Torment in that pick 1. I think I probably end up just taking the Open Fire there, but happy to pick up a Hoopoo for a little online draft. Speaking of day 2 of a GP, I did just get back from GP Toronto. Pretty good weekend. Ended up, this is actually close between the Stalwarts and the Unsummoned. I think we're just going to take the Unsummoned here. We also, taking the Desert here isn't the worst, because picking up Deserts early are, I'd say Deserts you want to pick up around like between picks 5 and 7. Is when I'd be like happy to pick up a Desert. Pick 3 is probably a little bit too early to be looking at it. We're just going to take the solid 2 drop here. Any of these 5 cards would be happy to come back to us. Ideally, it's the Unsummoned. I think that's the next best card of the pack for our colors. But given that we took the Sifter Worm, I do want to start with at least focusing on green, because we can always splash the Hopo if it comes to that. Hey, this card did great for us at the GP. We also have a great card to reveal with it, and I think that a single blue for Scry 3 is very powerful. We are actually going to be taking this, and I'm going to laugh heavily because all my friends gave me some flack for running this. Day 1 I was blue-red, and I played 1 forest with I had a amulet, Traveler's Amulet, and I played the 1 forest and played this card, and everyone was looking at me being like, I don't think that card is worth splashing, I don't think that card is that great. I think a single blue for Scry 3 is a good effect, and I think sometimes you just gotta believe, and I think Believe is a very solid card. I also think Appeal to Authority is very good. Ooh. Here's between just taking the dude, which I would take Harry-Naga over Sidewinder Naga, taking the Strategic Planning, or taking the Appeal to Authority. I think it's actually close between these 2. I kind of just really like Strategic Plannings. It's just kind of the card that I like. But I'm going to go ahead and just take the dude here. Be happy with it. Yep. Not much for us here. Gideon's Defeat is solid. Don't really care for a Fail Prowler, but we'll take it just because it's the only green card. It's a decently late Tormented Scarabs. We're also just seeing a lot of black. I'm actually going to take the Tormented Scarabs because I don't care that much for a Reed Stalker. And we're seeing a lot of black, which means that if things switch up, we'll be happy just to take a Torment here. That's very late Unsummoned. Unsummoned is still very underrated in this format. Here's between taking the Ritualist or taking the Chandra's Defeat. Because if we end up green, we're pretty much able to, like, because of cards like the Ritualist and Manolith, we'll be able to splash whatever, and this is a very strong card to splash. in that instance. I think we'll just take the Ritualist, though. Especially since we do have a card like Sift of Worm in the deck. Getting a little bit of ramp is solid. Take another Unsummon. Take another Unsummon. Because there's so many decks that'll just, like, play a big... Like, just play a Colossopede or something. You just unsummon it for 1, play something else, able to chip in for a little bit of damage. Then you have to spend the whole 5 more mana to play their big dumb guy. Here, I'll take the Reed Stalker and be pretty happy. So yeah, my GP best story from the GP was definitely Plain Reason to Believe. I just cast Supreme Will to Impulse. I saw Island, Mountain, Forest. And I took the Forest because I had the Reason to Believe in my hand. I was still upset that I wasn't able to take something good. Cast Reason. My scry was Island, and an Aerial Guide, which just did nothing on the board, so I put all 3 on the bottom. And then I just had to believe, and I believed, flipped it over, and it was the Fact or Fiction Sphinx, whatever his name is. And I was just like, well, sometimes you just gotta believe. And that was round 1, and that is, well, round 3, with the first round I played. And that is how the GP started, and it just went all uphill. I ended up Xing 3, ended up in 10th place, or 9th place, ended up in 9th place. It was a good weekend. We just want our pack to show up, so we can pick a card from it. Hopefully it's green or blue. Hopefully it's maybe another Unsummon. Well, I guess it's kind of blue. So far in the set, Torment of Scarabs has been the card that has... Essentially, it's been the card... that was value. Ooh, Godfarrow's Gifts. That's a good card. Hey, that's how my draft, or my GP ended. Devotee of Strength is also very strong. It might be a card that I should take, but I think Godfarrow's Gifts is just very strong. We're going to pick it up. What I was saying is, I have so many stories to tell now, all because Godfarrow's Gifts showed up. Torment of Scarabs so far has been the card that seems to be the most controversial as to like whether it's playable, good, great, or a trap. And I think that it is... I think I'm on the side of it's good. And, like, not necessarily great. There are times when it's great, but there are times when it does nothing. It's a really hard card to evaluate. Here's whether or not we just want some 3-drop, which is better for our curve, or another Ritualist, which is good with our 2 7-drops. I feel like the Ritualist is something that could come back around. I also kind of just want this Torment of Venom, but we have 3 unsummons, so we kind of don't want to break away from that plan. I'm just going to take the Naga here. You can also take Hollowed One, which has been meh. Like, you want a 3-mana 3/3 or a sometimes kind of 3-mana 4/4, but you have to work for it. I'm just going to take the for sure thing. Here, it's actually between Vizier of the Anointed and Spellweaver Eternal. I'm going to go with the Spellweaver Eternal. I think this card is potentially the most underrated card in the format. I think this card is great. Now that the format's kind of fleshed out, people have started to see that the power of the Eternal. But early on, these were coming around, and you were just able to get as many of them in your deck as you wanted. And I think this card is just very solid, especially with cards like Unsummon. You just play this on turn 2, bounce whatever they play, get in for 3, play a second 2-drop, and then you're just able to keep rinse and repeat, and there you go. Aerial Guide. I was looking, I'm just like, there's nothing great for us, but then I saw Aerial Guide, which is actually very great for us. So we're going to pick that on up. Farm to market. Quite good. Get to strength is okay. Kind survivor is not exciting. And Dune Diviner is not exciting. So I think it's between the farm to market or like gift of strength, and we're just gonna go with the farm to market. We do have a ritualist to be able to splash. We also wouldn't mind picking up like one or two other splashy or splash colors. Not splash colors, but splash cards. Ooh, here's between the desert, the amulet, or the tender. Since we have 2 7-drops, we're gonna go with the tender here. Yeah, that just seems solid. We really want this desert. Like, we're not extremely striving for like a desert theme or anything like that, but we would not say no to a cycle land. Here there's just nothing for us. There is this Torment of Venom, which is something kind of for us. Except that's just double black, and we're not going to be splashing double black. So it's between Reed Stalker or an earlier drop. I think we're just going to take this Sandwalla here. Alright, here is a very late Vizier of the True. We are going to take this Vizier of the True. If we end up with enough Exert creatures, they can easily see splashing that card. But it's just so late. We currently have just the one Exert creature. Seems like white was actually the color to be. Yeah, white-black would have given us a very solid deck. Well, we're going to tell our neighbors that. Like, hey, you should be white-black. And give us more green cards. Pack 1, our green was doing great. I actually want to take this Gideon's Defeat over than this is Defeat, just because you very rarely side in this as Defeat. But Gideon's Defeat is a very powerful card. I'm taking this as Defeat in case we go against something like Sandworm Convergence or something like that. But generally, not that. Generally, you don't care about just destroying the forest. Or if we go against Nissa. So, draft number 2 of GB Toronto, I pack 1, picked 1 Godpharaoh's Gift, and I did end up getting a gate in the Amonkhet pack, and essentially what it turned into was my deck was just like a bunch of strategic plannings and a bunch of, we'll take the Kefnet. Yeah, and then there's just nothing else for us. Like, we kind of want this Gift of Paradise to come back around. Other than that, it's just like Kefnet, a dude, Winter Rebuke. We're taking Kefnet. Do we want the gate now, or do we try and wheel it? I think we can try and wheel it, because it's not the most important card. It's handy to have, but you don't need it. I think I just want this 2-drop. Especially with 3 unsummons, we're pretty happy just taking a 2-drop here. If the gate wheels, we'll take it, but not pick 2. Take this pyramid to try and like ramp up to our 7 drops, but it's not that important. But my last play of the game, or my last play of the entire tournament, was I looked at my graveyard. My opponent was at 3. I had 2 creatures that were able to attack, but he had the 3/4 lifelinker that would have just kept him alive. And I had 5 creatures in my graveyard and gate in my hand. And I draw, and I'm just like, ooh, I'm going to be able to gate. Until I realized I'm not able to gate because I only have 5. I thought I had 6. And I realized the card I draw is Strategic Plannings. So I cast it. Ooh, we are taking this, hoping this comes back around. Or any of these 2 come back around. But we do want another big guy here. So many cards in that pack that we wanted. Do we take the bluffs to try and splash the farm? Or we just take Shed Weakness? Or the Manglehorn for a sideboard? Manglehorn for a sideboard over... No, Shed Weakness is a little better, especially since we don't really have that much removal. So I cast the Strategic Plannings. And I draw or look at the top three, and it's land, and any creature. And I immediately slam pick a land, throw the creature in the yard, able to play Gate, sacrifice Gate to get the God Pharaoh's Gift to return. I really was hoping this was actually Sandworm. We're going to take the cartridge here. Was able to return a flyer onto the field to get the opponent down and dodge that lifelink damage. So it was a sweet finish to the tournament. Spring to Mind or Gale Strike, both of these are great. I think with... Oh, no. Gale Strike's so good. I think Spring to Mind might just be better. It gets us our white for farm. It also gets us to our later drops. It also gets us Mind, which is great. But Gale Strike's so good. I think I'm going to hedge that the other Spring to Mind might come back. Take Gale Strike. Wow! Where are the right colors? Let's take that. Gate came back. This is great. Oh, this can't get an artifact, right? Nope. You see a world where we sideboard into Crab. It's not a likely world, but it is a world. Come on, last pick, Spring to Mind. Yeah. So. Didn't get the Spring to Mind, which is fine. I don't think we're going to splash the farm market. Ooh, and over the 4 forest, not bad. Not playing this Torment. We took the Gale Strike over it. Yeah, I think since we got the Weaver, we're fine just not playing it. I do like playing the Gate, which also just makes me want to like play market. So we have to make 4 cuts because I think this is a 17 land deck. It's farm to market. It needs to reveal a creature. We have 2 big hits off of it. Probably cutting a Reed Stalker. I think we're just playing all these 2-drops because we do have the cartouche to go along with it. So I think, yeah, we just cut a Reed Stalker. We're going to be looking to trade creatures off pretty handily. We just cut the cat. And maybe just 1 unsummon in the sideboard. Or just 16 lands. We have 2 things to ramp us. We kind of stop at 3. We have 2 draw spells. We have the Scry, that's 3 draw spells. Gale Strike, kind of a draw spell. Gate to the Afterlife, kind of a draw spell. Maybe just get rid of this Sandwallow. Yeah, I think this looks fine. This looks fine. No need to splash. No deserts, unfortunately. I do have a bunch of full art lands, though. But I want all my lands to match, so we're not playing with them. And I think it's just an even split. We'll put an extra green in. Yep. And we'll see you. So put an extra green in. See you with this deck for round number 1.